What's going on, everybody? Oh man, this offseason has been exciting. I was talking about it last week. Tons of trades, tons of free agent moves, tons of crazy things going on this offseason. The draft has happened, and OTAs and practices are starting again. And redraft ADPs are really starting to come together. So if you look at ADP websites now, you look at ADPs where players are going, we're getting a pretty solid idea of where players are going to be going in drafts this year. So I started this series last week, but I'm going to keep talking about players that I think are undervalued and overvalued according to current redraft fantasy football ADPs. Last week, I talked about Najee Harris and why I think he is a great value in redraft fantasy football, even though he is a first round pick right now in most drafts. This week, I want to talk about wide receiver, who I think is pretty overrated in fantasy football drafts right now. I think you should stay away from this guy for now. I'm Hutchinson Brown from Footballguys. I'm at TYFMNFL on Twitter. And before I get into this video, make sure you all subscribe to the Footballguys YouTube channel. Click that notifications bell so you'll be notified every single time a new video drops on this awesome channel. So without further ado, let's get into this wide receiver. A wide receiver I see as overrated in redraft fantasy football right now is Gabriel Davis, wide receiver of the Buffalo Bills. Right now, his ADP, according to Underdog, is at wide receiver 24. He's just slipping into the top 50 overall picks. According to Fantasy Pros, he's going around wide receiver 30-ish, according to their average they get from a few different sites. He's going around wide receiver 30. So he is about a wide receiver 2 to 3 in a lot of drafts. I don't think this is worth it. And I have a few points here that I'm going to bring up. So here we go. Starting with the first one. From first to second year, we should see a big improvement, or at least a solid jump of improvement, if we want to see a big year 3 breakout. We didn't see that from Gabe Davis. You might think so because of that late playoff performance. We did not see that. In Gabe Davis's rookie year, he had 13 games of 50% or more snaps. He only had 6 this past year in the regular season. He also had less targets this year than he did in his rookie year. He got significantly worse when you look at the stats in 2021 compared to his rookie season in 2020. Additionally, the year was rough overall for Gabe Davis's year. Very disappointing. We've only saw a couple good games. And you may want to blame Emmanuel Sanders and Cole Beasley. You can do that all you want, but I got some stats here to show you that why the Bills, why you might want to blame just Gabe Davis overall. You might want to blame the Bills not trusting him. Emmanuel Sanders had a solid season, but he wasn't super hot the whole season. He only had 2 games of 6 or more targets from week 9 on, while seeing a ton more targets. Like if you look at the splits from the first half and the second half, it's a very significant difference from the first half Emmanuel Sanders to second half Emmanuel Sanders. He dropped off, leaving an opportunity for Gabe Davis, but we didn't see a breakout. Gabe Davis only had 3 games with 5 or more catches from weeks 9 on. Why didn't we see a breakout? Because Cole Beasley straight up beat Gabe Davis for targets. Cole Beasley, while only having 3 games of 5 or more targets in the first 6 games he played, in his last 9 games played, he had 7 games with 5 or more targets. He straight up stepped over Gabe Davis and took targets. Gabe Davis could not beat out the veteran slot receiver Cole Beasley. And now these two are gone, right? These two are gone. They got rid of him this offseason. Beasley and Sanders are both gone, right? And you might be thinking, whoa, celebration time, right? Gabe Davis time. I wouldn't bet on that. They've brought in Jamison Crowder, a target hog out of the slot. They held on to Knox. And after what they've seen from him in this past year, they might want to give him more than just like 50-ish targets. They might want to give him some more balls like that. And they've also brought in the second round of the NFL draft, a potentially great pass-catching running back in James Cook. He's a pass-catching specialist coming out of college. They're bringing in these options because they clearly don't believe that Gabe Davis, after watching him for 2 seasons, They don't believe that Gabe Davis can step up and be the number 2 receiver for his team, or for their team. They don't believe in him. It's very clear. It's very obvious with the moves they're making. It's very obvious with how Josh Allen looks at him on the field, because when Beasley and Sanders are there, he's giving them the ball instead of Davis. I'm sorry, guys. It's just very clear that the Bills don't believe in Gabe Davis. And you're drafting Gabe Davis at wide receiver 24, like let's say in between wide receiver 24 and wide receiver 30 in a lot of drafts, probably around the 6th or 7th round. That's not worth the risk because his upside is so capped. It is so capped right now because Stephon Diggs had a crazy contract signing this offseason. He is locked in. He's going to see tons of targets. He's the clear number 1 option. He's probably going to have one of the highest target shares in football. So that's a ton of targets. Dawson Knox, huge threat around the red zone, going to see targets. That's gonna hurt him. And then you've got James Crowder, a slot hog, who's going to take targets. Maybe Gabe Davis sees more than them. Sure. But that upside is not there. Like, I don't like it is very unrealistic to see Gabe Davis finishing as a top 15 wide receiver this year. And wide receivers that you're drafting in this low wide receiver 2, high wide receiver 3 range, you want guys that have the potential to get into this range. You want guys that have the potential to win your league. Gabe Davis is not that player. Gabe Davis is not that player. He is being way overhyped, way overdrafted because of one great playoff game. And give him credit because he put up a heck of a game. He showed some talent. But with the moves the Bills have made this offseason and with the moves the Bills have made on the field this past season, it is very clear they do not trust Gabe Davis to step up and be their number 2 receiver. And they shouldn't, because Gabe Davis has not been able to beat out Emmanuel Sanders or Cole Beasley. I'm sorry, guys. He just hasn't. All right, everybody. That's going to be it for today's video. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Sorry, I got a little upset there. I got just very passionate about Gabe Davis and not loving him for fantasy football, and I don't love the hype around him. But that's all for today's video. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Please go follow me on Twitter at TYFMNFL, and please subscribe to the Football Guys YouTube channel. Click that notifications bell so you'll be notified every single time a new video drops on this awesome channel. We'll see you guys next week with more overrated, underrated players in redraft fantasy football.